Imagine staring down the largest empire the ancient world had ever known, knowing you are outnumbered hundreds to one. Why fight? What could possibly drive 300 warriors to stand against an army of over 100,000 soldiers? What if I told you it wasn't just about bravery, but strategy, alliances, and a desire to defend freedom at all costs? Welcome to the Battle of Thermopylae. This isn't just the story of 300 Spartans. Thousands of Greek allies joined them. Together, they faced impossible odds, not just with weapons, but with tactical brilliance. How did a small coalition of Greek states hold off the unstoppable Persian war machine? And what role did the very geography of Greece play in one of history's most iconic battles? In this video, we dive deep into the heart of ancient Greece, uncover the motives behind Persia's ambitions, and break down the military genius that defined the Battle of Thermopylae. From the politics that led to this confrontation to the heroism that changed the course of history, this is the untold story of Thermopylae. The story of Thermopylae begins far beyond Greece, in the heart of the vast Persian Empire. By the 5th century BCE, Persia had become the most powerful empire the world had ever seen, spanning from Egypt to India. Under Darius I, the Persian Empire was at its peak, but the seeds of conflict with Greece were planted when Athens and other Greek city-states supported a rebellion against Persian rule in Ionia. This defiance infuriated Darius, who launched the first invasion of Greece, leading to the famous Battle of Marathon in 490 BCE. At Marathon, the vastly outnumbered Greeks managed to defeat the Persian forces, a humiliating blow to the empire. For Darius, it was more than just a military loss. It was a personal affront. Before he could exact his revenge, he died, leaving the task of subjugating Greece to his son, Xerxes. When Xerxes ascended to the throne, he inherited not only his father's empire, but also his unfinished war. But Xerxes didn't just want to conquer Greece, he wanted to make an example of it. He would show the world the price of defying Persia. To achieve this, Xerxes assembled one of the largest military forces ever seen in the ancient world. According to historians, his army may have numbered anywhere from 100,000 to 300,000 troops, although some ancient accounts exaggerate the figure to 1,000,000 or more. This included soldiers from all corners of the Persian Empire, from Egypt to India. The Persian navy, composed of hundreds of warships, was equally formidable, designed to support the land forces as they advanced through Greece. This was no ordinary military campaign. Xerxes had grand ambitions. He ordered the construction of a massive bridge of boats across the Hellespont, allowing his army to march from Asia into Europe. The sheer scale of the invasion was unprecedented. As the Persian war machine rolled towards Greece, it must have seemed unstoppable. Meanwhile, Greece was in turmoil. The Greek city-states were fiercely independent and often at odds with one another. Athens and Sparta, the two most powerful states, were rivals with vastly different cultures and political systems. Athens was a democracy, prizing freedom and intellectual pursuits, while Sparta was a warrior society, built on discipline and military prowess. But the Persian threat forced these city-states into a fragile alliance. The Greek states knew they couldn't defeat the Persian juggernaut in open battle, but they could slow its advance. This was where the genius of Spartan King Leonidas came into play. Leonidas recognized that a head-on confrontation with Xerxes' forces would be suicidal. Instead, he sought to exploit the geography of Greece to level the playing field. Thermopylae, a narrow mountain pass, was the perfect defensive position. If the Greeks could hold this pass, they could buy time for the rest of Greece to organize a full-scale defense. Thermopylae, which translates to the Hot Gates due to its nearby sulfur springs, wasn't just a random choice for a battlefield. It was a masterstroke of strategic thinking. The pass, which was only 50 to 100 feet wide in places, was flanked by the sea on one side and towering cliffs on the other. This natural bottleneck meant that the Persian army's overwhelming numbers would count for little. They could only send a limited number of troops through the pass at a time, allowing the much smaller Greek force to hold its ground. By choosing Thermopylae, Leonidas turned the very landscape into a weapon, using it to neutralize the Persian army's size and mobility. But Thermopylae wasn't just about terrain. The timing of the battle was also critical. The Persians were advancing during the religious festival of Carnea in Sparta and the Olympic Games. These events normally prohibited military activity, but Leonidas knew that the Persians wouldn't wait. Defying religious customs, he led his 300 Spartans to Thermopylae, joined by about 7,000 other Greek soldiers from various city-states. The battle began with the arrival of Xerxes' forces at the Hot Gates. Confident in his army's overwhelming strength, Xerxes demanded the Greeks surrender. According to legend, when Xerxes told the Greeks to lay down their weapons, Leonidas famously responded, "Come and take them." It was a bold and defiant answer, one that set the tone for the days to come. The Greek forces, led by the Spartans, formed a phalanx, a tight formation of soldiers with overlapping shields and long spears. This formation, designed for close-quarters combat, was nearly impenetrable. As the first waves of Persian soldiers attacked, they found themselves funneled into the narrow pass, unable to break through the wall of Greek shields. Wave after wave, the Persians were repelled. Even the elite Persian immortals, Xerxes' most feared troops, couldn't break through the Greek lines. The discipline and training of the Spartans were unmatched, and for 2 days they held the pass, inflicting heavy casualties on the Persians. But Leonidas and his men could not hold out forever. On the second night of the battle, a local Greek named Ephialtes betrayed his countrymen by revealing a hidden mountain path to Xerxes. This path would allow the Persians to bypass Thermopylae and surround the Greek forces. When Leonidas learned of the betrayal, he knew the battle was lost. But instead of retreating, he chose to make a final stand. He ordered most of the Greek forces to withdraw, leaving behind only his 300 Spartans, 700 Thespians who volunteered to stay, and 400 Thebans who were forced to remain. On the morning of the third day, the Persians attacked from both sides. The Spartans fought with ferocity, knowing that this would be their last battle. They fought with swords, spears, and when their weapons broke, even with their bare hands. But the Persian numbers were too great. By the end of the day, Leonidas and his men had fallen, but not before inflicting massive losses on the Persians. The Battle of Thermopylae was a defeat for the Greeks in the short term, but in the long run, it was a turning point. The heroic last stand of Leonidas and his men became a symbol of resistance that inspired the Greek city-states to unite against the Persian invasion. The delay at Thermopylae gave the Greeks time to regroup and prepare for the battles to come, including the decisive naval Battle of Salamis, where the Greek fleet destroyed much of the Persian navy. Ultimately, Xerxes was forced to retreat, and the Persian invasion was repelled. But Thermopylae lived on in legend. The story of the 300 Spartans became a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and the fight for freedom against overwhelming odds. For centuries, their stand at the Hot Gates has been remembered as one of history's most epic battles, a testament to the power of unity and the indomitable human spirit. The Battle of Thermopylae teaches us that sometimes the greatest victories come not from surviving, but from standing your ground when it matters most. The sacrifice of Leonidas and his Spartans remains one of the most powerful examples of bravery in the face of impossible odds. Thank you for joining us in exploring the history of Thermopylae. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what other moments from history you'd like to explore next. Together, we'll continue to uncover the stories that shaped our world.